Hello, and welcome to the Tabloid Times podcast.
Hey.
Yep, I am your host, the host. And now, we here at the Tabloid Times are here to bring you some quality content. So we have another one of our great discussions. I have with me Mr. Hauser.
Good day, sir.
And Mr. Nothauser.
Hey.
Hey.
How's it going?
It's going fine, Mr. Nothauser.
Good.
First of all, I'd like to mention that the chair I'm sitting in currently has two legs, both of which are on the right side. That's all I have to say about
Chair
this
has
matter.
5 legs, Hauser. 5 legs.
Well, my chair, I might like to add, has one leg. And
No, your chair has 5 legs also.
Isn't the saying that 6 legs is always better than 3?
I don't know, because 3 goes into 6. That
Spiders
makes
have
6-legged
6
chairs
6
twice as better
squared is
as 3.
36.
Spiders have 6
So,
legs. If
do we
your
have to
chair
square
has 6
every chair?
legs, then you're sitting on a spider. Now, I'm not sure about you, but
This is
I
a
won't
really
sit
big
on a
spider. I haven't seen a spider this big since I was at the zoo.
I haven't seen a spider that big since I sat on one of those.
I just
a few
haven't seen a
minutes ago.
spider in general. Well, I just tend to avoid them. So, we have a very special treat here. We are bringing in a very special guest, Chris Moore, a door handle expert, here to talk about on all the great issues with him. So, Chris, great to have you on the show. Anything you'd like to say?
Isn't it a pleasure to be here?
We'd like to thank you, and we'd also like to know, what is your opinion on door handles?
I think door handles can be a little complicated in terms of their ability to form the physics that alter our metaphysical universe sometimes.
Do you have a favorite kind? Do you have any that inspire you, any that do not please you?
Well, the ones with levers are easy to manipulate, aren't they?
I have to agree with that.
How do you know
but
what you know? How do you know what you know? That's my question. The question that I'm asking you, and I'd like to ask you, what do you think of my question?
Haven't I spent my entire life using door handles?
Why do
Are
I
you
even
sure
assert-
that you've spent your entire life using door handles?
I've spent
just
my
trying to think
entire
here.
life not
Are-
using door handles, but I'd
Is
like
there a
to say,
considerable
like,
percentage of
I
the
wonder how
population that
many
uses
door handles I've used.
revolving doors?
The true question is, how do doors trap us into our own misperceptions of multidimensional realities? Especially when you consider insects and dolphins.
Well, what makes it a multi-dimensional reality? Why aren't we just in 0 dimensions? Why do we perceive ourselves as multiple dimensional people and places and things? What makes us do that?
Isn't it true that dolphins can actually see in the 4th dimension? I wonder, what's it like? What is the 4th dimension?
Maybe we all are in the 4th dimension. Maybe that's how it is, but still I wonder, what's life like in the 3rd dimension?
Well, if we never open a door, aren't we living in all dimensions at the same time, and yet only existing in one?
Maybe we exist in 0 dimensions, and that's how we think about all the dimensions. There are only 3 dimensions, but what if there was only 0?
That's a good question. Why don't we think of that?
And what happens when you bring pie into it?
Well, isn't it true that pie, especially apple and lemon meringue, my personal favorites, isn't it true that pie can alter time in ways that are far too complex to explain in words, but too simple for basic understanding?
Are you one of those guys that always keeps his calculator in radians mode, thinking about pi too much? What makes degrees not matter too? I mean,
What if there are only 360 degrees of the universe?
Huh.
I wonder, would this bring us into a circular universe if there are only 360
There are only
degrees?
360 degrees in a circle. There are only 365 days in a year. Where did the 5 degrees go?
Can't it also be said that none of that is accurate if the Earth is actually flat?
Well, we have to remember, isn't it true that the government is actually creating this conspiracy that the Earth is flat to cover up the fact that it isn't round either? But isn't it that Earth is really a hologram, a holographic image tied together by shoelaces?
Yes, indeed. The water just happens to be the waves in the hologram. Spontaneous combustion happens to be the occasional glitches in the programming. But why is that? Why did they make a hologram of this? Especially why did
Am I
they...
not crazy, but isn't the Tabloid Times the way to see through the hologram?
Perhaps. I was just mostly wondering why they would include New Jersey on this hologram. Of all the things to include, why New Jersey?
Isn't this all just evidence of collusion between the government and the shoelace industry?
Yes. That is a fair point. But I'd also like to point out, what if, suppose, it was that we have Nike. What if Nike is secretly controlled by the Greek government to
What
collude
if
with our
Adidas
government?
is a better brand than Nike? I'd like to
What if
mention
every
that,
single
and I think
brand
that's
is owned
how
by
you
the
think what I
flat
think you
earth
are.
faking
How do you think
government?
about it?
Yeah, and they're just giving us variety to make us think that we
Why
have
aren't we
choice.
concentrating on these very serious issues? Why do you think, Mr. Nothauser, why are we so focused on the things that aren't important, that aren't real?
I think things are important and things aren't important, but what do you think?
I wonder what I think. Why am I thinking? What is thinking?
What
am
are we
I
trying
thinking?
to accomplish here?
Aren't things that are real also imaginary?
And kind of like imaginary numbers? Because there are applications for them, but aren't they also
Don't prime
imaginary
numbers
in
not
nation?
even exist?
See, this is what I'm talking about. The second we stray from door handles, something that matters, we revert back to mathematics, something that is entirely falsified by some guy named Socrates. Aren't we just succumbing to his establishmentarian narrative?
What if we are getting off course? What if we are talking too much about numbers and fake things and guys doing things and not enough about what brought us here together in the first place?
You're right.
But what are we talking about?
Isn't it true that if we get off task, we need only open a door to get back on track? So, in fact, might we still be on the same subject?
If
Indeed.
you open a door, then I opened the door. That's the question that I'd always ask. And I'd like to ask you a question. What if you opened a door, and what if I opened a door? Would we all open doors?
Isn't it true that the Tabloid Times can open doors for the world to see the truth?
Wouldn't some of those doors be locked?
Wait, we can record over the laptop.
Wouldn't some of those doors be locked?
The door that was just opened was locked, was not locked. But what if it was locked? What if no doors opened and doors were just walls?
Well,
But the Tabloid Times doesn't bring us to a wall. The Tabloid Times brings us to a door. What door does the Tabloid Times bring us to?
Well, it almost brought us to the door that went to the void. And how did we get that close? How did we close that? That was impressive footwork right there, Mr. Hauser.
The real question here as we open doors, as we fight, as we struggle, as we try to carry forward by opening doors every day to the world, the important question that we have to ask: are we opening doors with levers or doors with knobs?